Unit 1, Lesson 9, Part 1, Dividing Rational Numbers. Introduction. Okay, first a little bit of vocabulary. The inverse property of multiplication states that for every number except 0, there exists another number that when multiplied will produce the product 1. For example, 2 times a half can give you 1. Reciprocal is actually what this thing is called. It's the multiplicative inverse of a number, the number by which you multiply to produce the product of 1. It happens when you take a fraction and reciprocate it or flip it upside down. And that's what gives you the answer of 1. So 4/3 is the reciprocal of 3/4. So real quick, the division model using the group. Dividing fractions can be modeled using the group model. In this example, 6 1/3 is divided by 1 1/3. This makes a group size 1 1/3 or 4/3. The groups are numbered 1 through 4. There are not enough thirds to make a fourth group or a fifth group. So notice I'm making groups of 4/3. There's 4/3. Here's 4/3 in the second group. The third group also has 4/3. There's the fourth group of 4/3. But there are only 3 of them left over. I would need 4 of them for another group, so I'm unable to make a fifth group. But I can make 3/4 of another group. So the quotient is 4 groups plus 3/4 group, or 4 3/4 groups. So when you divide fractions, you need to get a common fraction. Then you change it from a quotient to a product. Multiply the numerators, multiply the denominators, and reduce. Of course, you can reduce before multiplying if you want. Here's an example. 3 3/7 divided by 1 1/5. You're going to change them to common fractions. You get 24/7 divided by 6/5. And then you you change it from division to multiply the reciprocal. So divide 6/5 becomes times 5/6. And then you multiply. You get 27ths as your answer after reducing. Or you can change it to a mixed number and get 2 6/7. Let's do another example here. So you first will change it to common fraction. We need to do 5 times 5 plus 1. That's 26/5, negative 26/5. We're going to divide 2 times 3 is 6 plus 1 is 7/3. When you divide, you're going to change it to multiply by the reciprocal. And I don't see anything reducing nicely for me here, so I'm just going to have to multiply straight across. Negative 26 times 3 is negative 78. 5 times 7 is 35, so this is negative 78/35, or negative 2 8/35 if you divide them back out. When you divide decimal numbers, you're going to need to use long division. Now, in order to set this up, you can put it into long division form, but you need to divide by an integer, and 1.2 is not an integer. So you move the decimal one place over, and you move the decimal one place over here, and you end up dividing 12 into 132.6. And then over here you can see the long division being completed. You can pause the video and look at that in more detail if you want, or it's in your notes. So let's do an example. 130.2 divided by 1.3. Well, I would do 1.3 goes into 330.2. Now, I do need to change this to an integer, so I'm going to move it over. And this gives me 13 divides into 3,302. Now, chances are you don't know your multiples of 13. So, since we're going to have to do the multiples of 13 for a few steps here, it is a good idea to make a list of them. You only have to go as high as 9, because you only need to, when you do long division, you never check anything higher than 9 multiples of it. So 13 times 1 times 2, I'm just adding 13 each time until I get this list created. I believe that is, it's 78. 13 times 7, 91, then 104, then 117. Okay, those are all the multiples of 13. This will make the long division go very fast. 13 goes into 0 once. 13 goes into 33 twice. 2 times 13 is 26. 33 minus 26 is 7. Bring down the 0. 13 goes into 70 5 times. 5 times 13 is 65. 70 minus 65 is 2, or 5. Bring down the 2. 13 goes into 52 4 times. 4 times 13 is 52. Remainder 0. I'm done. I just need to bring the decimal point straight up. And since it was positive, divide positive, the answer is positive 254.